Dr. Hina, previously we discussed about robotics in rehabilitation, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So today we will be seeing transcranial direct current stimulation.
Okay, sir.
Could you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, transcranial direct current stimulation is a non-invasive method of stimulating the brain. See, there are two types of brain stimulation. One is invasive and one is non-invasive. In the invasive, you can see deep brain stimulator, which we apply for Parkinson's disease. So this is a non-invasive. That means we are not operating or anything. So by using surface electrodes, we are going to stimulate the brain. That is called as transcranial direct current stimulation. Transcranial direct current stimulation, shortly it is called as TDCS. It is a form of neuromodulation that uses constant low direct current delivered via electrodes on the head. See, there is a separate device, TDCS device is available, but actually the current used in it is plain galvanic current. So if you are having a stimulator which can deliver plain galvanic current, even you can use that also for transcranial direct current stimulation. It uses low frequency direct currents delivered via electrodes on the head. It was originally developed to help patients with brain injuries or neuropsychiatric conditions such as major depressive disorder. It can be contrasted with cranial electrotherapy stimulation, which generally uses alternative current, as well as transcranial magnetic stimulation, where magnetic magnets are used to stimulate the brain. So, the essential of transcranial direct current stimulation is to stimulate various areas of the brain and then activate them which are depressed because of any injury or trauma or lack of blood supply, ischemic or hemorrhagic diseases. Transcranial direct current stimulation is a type of non-invasive neurostimulation. As I told you before, it is a non-invasive neurostimulation technique in which weak polarizing current is used to modulate cortical excitability. See, weak polarizing currents are direct currents which are plain galvanic currents. Transcranial direct current stimulation is a type of non-invasive neurostimulation technique in which weak polarizing current is used to modulate cortical excitability. Anodal stimulation, please remember here, we have two types of electrodes, anode and cathode, right? Anode is a positive and cathode is a negative stimulation. So here we stimulate different ways. Anodal stimulation depolarizes the neuron, hence increases cerebral excitability. Suppose if you want to increase the activity of an area of the brain, then we will use anodal stimulation. And cathodal stimulation hyperpolarizes the neuron, hence decreases cerebral excitability. Suppose if you want to depress anything, suppose you want to depress an activity of the brain, then we will be giving cathodal stimulation. So anodal stimulation is given where to increase the cerebral excitability, and cathodal stimulation is given to decrease to decrease the cerebral excitability, and anodal stimulation is given to increase the cerebral excitability. TDCS not only changes the electrical neuronal membrane potential but also changes N-methyl D aspartate and gamma aminobutyric acid receptors effectiveness. It shows long-term potentiation plasticity and long-term depression plasticity. That means the effects of transcranial direct current stimulation, we can maintain the effects for long duration. Anodal stimulation decreases GABAergic activity and increases glutamergic activity, hence showing LTP. Cathodal stimulation increases GABAergic activity and decreases glutamergic activity, hence showing LDP. Anodal stimulation depolarizes the neuron membrane and glutamate is released by a presynaptic neuron that binds to NMDA and AMPA receptors. This can lead to depolarization and increase of intracellular calcium into postsynaptic neurons, which can activate protein kinases like calcium, calmodulin dependent kinase CAMK. Protein kinase modulates many neuronal signaling pathways leading to the transcription, translation, and insertion of new glutamate receptors. In a long-term mechanism, CAKM activates CREB transcription factor, which mediates gene transcription and formation of new proteins. TDCS induces long-lasting effects by changing the excitability of the motor cortex in humans, which enhances motor skill learning by increasing synaptic plasticity. In the study by Niche et al. In 2005, they showed that TDCS interferes with brain excitability through modulation of intracortical and corticospinal neurons, hence increasing motor functions. So they have shown that this TDCS will modulate the intracortical and corticospinal neurons, the corticospinal tract neurons, and then the motor functions are being improved. And again, another research by Feng W et al. In 2013, they found that TDCS application over the motor cortex in post-stroke patients improves the motor functions. In post-stroke patients, when we give this stimulation, it is improving the motor functions. Lies Dong et al. In 2019, they interpreted that TDCS application increases the level of consciousness in the disorder of consciousness, that is in head injury patients where unconsciousness is there. So when we give TDCS to them, there will be increase in the consciousness level. Means early arousal response. You can bring the arousal response in the unconsciousness patients. A study done by Thibaut et al. Et al. In 2014 shows that anodal TDCS over the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex increases the level of consciousness, hence increasing the motor functions. So that is about the transcranial direct current stimulation. We ourselves, we have done a research on multi-level stimulation of brain in unconscious patient. Recently, our paper was published in NeuroAsia, which is a Scopus Index journal. In that also we got response. Within 1 week, the level of consciousness have been improved when we applied on different areas. And now we are doing it on cerebral palsy kids. Yeah, cerebral palsy kids, and then Down syndrome. If you apply this TDCS from on the Down syndrome and cerebral palsy kids, definitely the results are very better. The improvement have been shown in this type of kids. Now I tell you one very important point you might be knowing. See, suppose I want my right hand to work. I want my right hand to work. My left cortex will be excited. At the same time, the left, the right cortex will be giving inhibitory responses. If I want my right hand to work, this is excited, this is inhibited. So when we want to give transcranial direct current stimulation, this point to be noted. So if I want to improve my right side functions, so I have to apply anode. Anode causes excitability. Cathode causes inhibiting. So anode will be placed over here and cathode will be placed over here. This is one type of stimulation. Most researchers have shown that if you want to increase the right hand excitability, one electrode is placed on the left and the other electrode is placed on the same side chin or on the shoulder. That also have shown neuroplasticity, but because we have to also concentrate on the left dorsoparietal cortex, so it would be better if you apply anode and cathode on the two electrodes. So both areas are stimulated. So excitability and inhibiting both will be activated, and near normal movements will occur if we give this. Okay, so this is about the TDCS. Now a small version of modification of this TDCS I will tell you, that is transspinal direct current stimulation. Now this is a new era in the this type of non-invasive stimulations for spinal cord injury patients. In the spinal cord injury patients, suppose there is a spinal cord injury at T12 level, transspinal direct current stimulation this is. Suppose if there is a spinal cord injury at T12 level, so we are using here 4 electrodes. 2 electrodes we will be placing anodes on T11 level and 2 on the abdomen below the umbilicus. And then we give stimulation for 20 minutes. TDCS also, transcranial direct current stimulation also, you have to give at a very low amperage. That is only we give for 2 milliamperes. The maximum amount of current to be given is only 2 milliamperes. Either it is transspinal or it is transcranial. Only 2 milliamperes we have to give, and the duration will be up to 20 minutes. Researchers have shown that at least 20 minutes stimulation will help in the getting the best results. Followed?
Yes.
Okay. Now I will tell you another important and most new novel technique. Have you heard about migraine?
Yes.
Yes.
Migraine, yes. What do you understand? Migraine, see, it's a umbrella term for various headaches actually. The frontoparietal. Okay, it's an umbrella term for this thing. What do you call for various headaches in the face and cranial bones. Actually, the bones of the face and cranium pain is taken as an umbrella term migraine. Now, for migraine, there are various therapies. Even in physiotherapy, we have. but there is a novel technique. This also we recently published one article. The article had to be, I mean, it has been accepted for publication, but yet to be published. Endonasal brain release. Endonasal brain release technique. Now I will show you that. This is very interesting and novel. You can also try, but you should be careful. Complete nose anatomy should be understood first before applying this technique. If you don't, if you are not aware of nose anatomy, then it is difficult for this technique. So you have to review your anatomy and dissect. Uh, आ जाओ रणजीत सर नहीं है तो जाओ 4 बज गई वो रूम बंद करो हाँ दे दो so we will see that now endonasal endonasal cranial balloon release. This technique is called as. See, it is a powerful physical technique that adjusts the bones of the skull and face. After explaining the entire procedure and assurance, the patient is made to lie supine on the treatment couch. Nasal skeletal release is performed using a finger cot or balloon attached to a blood pressure bulb. This is the one. This is the blood pressure bulb, and this is the balloon attached. What we have done is we generally use we cut the finger cot of the this what you call glove finger glove hand gloves will be there, no, surgical hand gloves. So we cut the little finger clot of the hand gloves and we attach it to the blood pressure bulb, sphygmomanometer bulb. So this is how the apparatus looks like. Then the finger cord is lubricated. You can lubricate it with moisturizer or any even ultrasound gel also you can apply. And then placed into each of the 6 nasal passages one by one. There are 3 nasal passages in each nostril. One nostril has 3 passages. So total 6 passages. It is inserted into the 6 passages one by one. Once the balloon is positioned properly, the balloon is then quickly inflated, which mobilizes the bones of the base and cranium. It is a very quick procedure and you feel similar to the sensation of water shooting up into the nose. See, आप लोग, I mean, you people might have ever taken bath in the river, and when you take a complete dip into the water, when water pushes into your nose, how you feel? Similar feeling the patient will feel when we apply the cot into the nostril and then we shoot up. The opposite nostril is lightly compressed by the therapist to prevent air from escaping. The patient takes a deep breath through mouth and holds it when the finger cot is gently inflated, making its way into the nasopharynx, causing it to widen. The finger cot is inserted into the inferior turbinate of the nose on both sides on the first day, then into the middle turbinate on the second day, and into the upper turbinate on the third day, and then into all the 3 nasal passages on both sides on the 4th day. So this is how we do. I will show you the video. See, this is given for migraine. This technique can be given for head injury cases, post head injury cases for recovery, cerebral palsy kits, Down syndrome kits to improve the mental functions. Even we can give this for stroke patients. Very fast after doing this, very fast improvements will be seen. Sinus patients you can give. Okay. Now I'll show you the video actually how it is performed.
So the video is not audible.
Video is not audible. Okay, wait. Applet full sound. Better you use what do you call earplugs.
Okay, sir, just a minute then.
Wait, let me check it out again. Let me check the volume on my laptop. You check your laptop volume also.
I'll just check. So it's 100% with us.
Okay. When it is 100% on my side also. It is not at all audible or it's slightly
No, so it
audible?
is not at all audible.
Not at all audible.
I'll just get the microphone.
See, it is 100%. Now, is it audible now?
No, sir, not yet. It's not audible with the earphone as well, sir.
Even it is not audible with earphone.
No, sir.
Okay, never mind. I will give you the link. I'll check. Wait. What is happening here? Let me check. Why it is not audible? Okay, now it will be audible. Is it audible now? Dr. Hina, is it audible now?
Sir.
Huh?
No, no, sir.
I am able to listen. I am getting the audio. Why you are not getting?
Sir, I don't know why this is happening. We'll just check. Other videos which you have shown us earlier, we have
Uh,
always been able to hear. This is
okay,
the first time.
you see the video first.
Yes, sir.
Then I will explain again.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay, okay.
See, when you have facial distortions, that is, any of the face bones are not symmetrical. Okay. Uh, the septum, the nasal septum is deviated, or one eye is above and one eye is below. any defects in the facial bones, you can use this cranial correction. It's a small balloon. You inflate the balloon and then release it. See, can you see this? These are called turbinates.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you will be inserting into the each turbinate once and then inflate and then immediately deflate it. So what it does is it opens up the skull and improves the CSF circulation.
Okay.
See, we don't have physiologically or anatomically such muscles which pulls the cranial bones apart. Yes or no? Because the facial muscles does not move the facial bones.
Yes.
Okay. So because of any reason, if there is distortion in the facial bone, there is pressure in the CSF circulation. Okay. Either it may be because of trauma or any other reason. So for that you need to mobilize the bones of the face, which is not possible either by hand or either by muscles that are attached over the face. So this balloon, when we insert this balloon into the turbinates, it will what you call mobilize the base of the skull, the base of the skull, and then it allows all the bones to mobilize. And when the bone starts mobilizing, they respire well, the CSF circulation improves, and then the brain circulation improves. That is the results of the this what do you call this release. So this is the vomer bone from which the cartilage in the front of the nose arises. So when you have subtle deviation, this vomer bone will be mobilized. These are turbinates. Inferior, middle and superior turbinates.
Yes.
These are concave. These are the inferior concave, middle concha and superior concha. So we are exactly inserting the balloon into the concave. It can even use for TMJ problems, headaches, sinusitis. Okay. So now, actual the concept is we have concave, right? Inferior concave, middle concave, and superior concave. We will insert the balloon. What we generally do is 1 minute. We, in our department, I generally do so for so many patients for so many conditions. So this is the normal bulb, okay, sphygmomanometer bulb. This is the glove, hand gloves, surgical hand gloves. Okay, so what we do is we cut this surgical glove here, and then what we do is we attach to this bulb. Okay, then what I will do is using a finger, this toothpick, I carefully insert into the nose, first into the inferior concha, then in the middle, then on the superior. Inflate, 3 times inflate, and immediately you deflate it. You will see tremendous results. I tell you, I will show you now one single case study that we have done. I will share it with you now. What was the problem? मैं क्लास में हूँ, बाद में मिलेंगे। हैप्पी न्यू ईयर। See, the study was effectiveness of endonasal cranial balloon release technique in relieving symptoms of migraine and improving the quality of work in a sedentary worker. It was a single case study. So the case description was single case report of 37-year-old female who presented with a 37-year-old female who is in teaching profession, that is sedentary teaching profession, reported to physiotherapy department of the university in Saifai, Uttar Pradesh, India, with severe headache at frontal and temporal area, occasionally with a sense of foul smell since 2 years. Often the pain radiated to the neck. I will show you. This is the area where the patient was having pain, frontal and temporal area. Occasionally with a sense of foul smell. See, this foul smell is a aura for migraine. Usually migraine, before migraine, they get aura. The patient and often the pain radiated to the neck. So many doctors, she has, for the past 2 years, she met many doctors. All the doctors were thinking that it was actually cervical spondylitis, and she was taking a treatment for cervical spondylitis. But later, this patient, when she went to a neurologist, then the neurologist diagnosed her as that the patient was suffering from migraine. And after clinical examination and medical management, sir, class mein, sir, online class, 4:30. The patient was diagnosed with migraine by a neurologist and clinical examination and on medical management. So the patient had no complete relaxation and had frequent bouts of migraine attack again and again. The patient was getting migraine. Then the patient reported had no other comorbidities. She is a non-hypertensive and non-diabetic. So this case, we have what lab investigations we have done. We have taken MRI, CT, and then normal routine lab investigations and X-ray skull and cervical spine, and they ruled no underlying pathology. So here the outcome measures was pain visual analog scale, and the work productivity affected by migraine was assessed by headache impact test, and impact of migraine on work productivity was assessed by work productivity and activity impairment questionnaire. So this is how the question, the percentage of work will be calculated. Interventions, endonasal cranial balloon technique was administered. The procedure was endonasal cranial balloon release. It's a powerful physical technique that adjusts the skull and bones. After explaining the entire procedure and assurance, the patient is made to lie supine on the treatment couch. Endonasal release was performed using a balloon attached to a blood pressure bulb. The balloon is lubricated and then placed into each 6 nasal passages one by one. The balloon is quickly inflated after placing into the nasal passage that mobilizes the face and cranial bones. To prevent the air escaping, the opposite nostril is closed by the therapist finger with slightly compressing. The balloon is inserted into the inferior terminate of the nose on the both sides on the first day, then into the middle terminate on the second day, then into the upper terminate on the third day, and then all 3 nasal passages on both sides on the fourth day. The patient was given 4 treatment sessions on continuous days. Results: the outcome measures are measured pre-intervention, post-intervention, and after 1 month follow-up. So after that, we have seen that the patient had reduction in pain. There was improvement in the work productivity and decreased migraine-related symptom even after 1 month. So this is the bulb we have used. So I tell you, Dr. Hina and Dr. Apurva, this case we have seen last year during the COVID-2 session. Now it is almost 1 year. The patient is none other than employee of our own university. Till today she has no pain. She had no attack of migraine. That much effective this technique is. Okay. So if you want to see this technique, anytime when we meet in person, I will demonstrate this technique. And then we have some other techniques, but that is ortho related. That's why I am not telling you, because I was told that I should only teach you neurological and what do you call cardiopulmonary.
Yes.
So ortho also we have, I have designed some new techniques.
Okay, sir. We will visit you and meet
Definitely,
you in person.
definitely. You come, you will be surprised, sir. What you are doing, you will tell.
Yes,
But
sir, for sure. We will.
because Hina, I worked for 8 years in Malaysia
Okay, sir.
as assistant professor in physiotherapy. I completed my PhD also there itself from American University. So at that time, we have learned few techniques from Thailand,
Yes.
especially the massage, and then few technique, toxin therapy it is called as,
Okay, sir.
for musculoskeletal problems.
Fine.
Okay, whenever we have time, we will, when you come over down here, I will show you our robotics lab here.
Yes, sir. We will surely.
Okay, and then you can see this technique. So that's
Yes.
the end of today's session. Okay, with this, we
Fine.
have completed the advanced treatment techniques in neurological conditions.
Okay, sir.
Because rest of the things all you all know. These are the new techniques that's why I've demonstrated. Next, one more class I will take on this cardiopulmonary.
Okay, sir.
So advancements in cardiopulmonary means I think we should talk only on COVID-19 and its management because
Yes.
today that is the major problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what all we have published almost 21 research papers on COVID-19
Okay.
last year, 21 research papers. So we will discuss all those things in the advanced cardiopulmonary.
Sure, sure.
Okay, we
Yes.
meet. Okay, hope you enjoyed today's
So
class.
one question. You
Yeah.
said that TDCS can be given through that galvanic current as well.
Yes, yes, plain galvanic.
Parameters we use the same as we use in stimulation or something we need to keep in
See,
mind?
in stimulation, you are using interrupted galvanic.
Yes, sir. IDC.
See, when you are giving iontophoresis,
Yes.
you will use plain galvanic current.
Yes, sir.
Same, plain galvanic current is the direct current.
Yes, sir.
So you can give with 2 milliamperes.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. See, we want a stable current, Dr. Hina.
Yes, sir.
All see, I tell you, Dr. Hina, all machines are not giving stable current.
Hmm.
Then the effects will be deteriorating.
Yes.
The best company what I observed is HMS.
Yes, sir. We have HMS.
HMS is the best one because it gives constant current.
Yes, sir.
The voltage will not be shuffled.
Okay. Yes, sir. We need
Okay.
constant current
So
stimulators,
if
right?
you are using plain galvanic current by HMS stimulator, definitely you get the same results.
Fine, sir.
But if you are planning to do research on TDCS, then you better buy the TDCS machine. It is not very costly. It's
Yes,
only
sir.
11,000 rupees.
We have applied for that. No, I'm not
Ah,
planning for the research, sir. Basically, when the
hmm.
patients are coming in the OPD,
Ah,
I'm
ah,
asking
ah.
for that purpose. Till the point we don't.
Especially you try it on cerebral palsy and Down syndrome kids.
Yes.
You know, it works beautifully.
Okay, so fine. We will definitely try. And in case of
Ah.
any query, we'll contact you.
Sure, sure, definitely. Okay.
Thank you
See
so
you
much,
all.
sir. This
Okay.
was really very innovative and new lecture today.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.